Hello, dear students. I am Sampada Sawant, Assistant Professor of Philosophy. In this video, we are going to cover Unit 1, Introduction to Indian Philosophy. The topic, General Features of Schools of Indian Philosophy. This is the Part 4 video of Unit 1. It is studied under Indian Philosophy Paper 3. So, let's begin. We have studied Astika as well as Nastika schools so far. All these schools combined have certain general features, common features among them. What these common features are, let's study them one by one. First is spiritual orientation. What it means is Indian schools of philosophy are usually termed as spiritual. The spiritual motive dominates life in India. In India, we talk a lot about spirituality. Almost all the systems of Indian philosophy aim at realization of soul. So, what does spirituality basically mean? It means understanding the soul that is within you. Knowing the nature of the soul is considered as one of the most important goal of Indian life, which is this feature is common for all the schools of philosophy. Then we come to liberation. Liberation of moksha is considered as the ultimate goal of our life, the ultimate end of our life. The idea of liberation is common to many systems of Indian philosophy, except few like Charvaka. So, Charvaka does not believe in liberation. We studied that Charvaka believes in Dehatmavad. For it, body is itself the soul, and soul is nothing but the accidental character of that body. So, if the body dies, the soul also dies with it. But other schools of philosophy, except Charvaka, believe in the idea of liberation. Liberation is called by different names like moksha, nirvana, kaivalya, etc. Almost all the systems of Indian philosophy consider moksha as one of the important objective or purushartha of life. Purushartha is the goal of life. It is believed that liberation enables a man to free himself from the cycle of birth and death, pap and punya, and from the bondage of worldly miseries. Third is respect for the past. What past are we talking about? We are talking about the ancient past. Okay. Almost all the systems of Indian philosophy have faith in Vedas, the Gita, and the Upanishads. Many philosophical systems regard scripture, okay, the Vedic scripture or any scripture, the ancient scriptures that we know in India, as testimony. Testimony is the authority. You know, we believe it as the reference, the source of reference for everything. Faith in scripture is not a kind of blind faith. So this is not just blind faith. Just because you're following Jainism, so you blindly believe in the teachings of Vardhaman Mahavir. No, this is not just blind faith. We have respect because the teachings have certain importance, certain value. So according to Radhakrishnan, Dr. S. Radhakrishnan, this respect for the past has produced a regular continuity in Indian thought. So every time we face with a problem, we go back to studying the ancient scriptures. The fourth is interrelation in various systems of Indian philosophy. If you observe so far, spiritual orientation, liberation, respect for the past, all these three have been common in all the Indian schools of philosophy. This means there is interrelation between them. There is certain relation between them. Okay. Various systems of Indian philosophy adopted the method of Khandan and Mandan, that is contemplation and then interpretation or teachings based on that contemplation. Okay. It also means argumentation, debating. What it means is they used to present the philosophical thought of their opponent in Purva Paksha, that is, so they used to debate with other systems of philosophy, the other systems of Indian schools of philosophy. What they used to do is this, for example, let's say Nyaya school has to deal with a certain idea or certain theory. What it used to do is it would debate with the followers of the Vaisheshika school. Okay. Or it would, let's say, debate with the followers of the Buddhist school. So, this debate, the practice of debating, the practice of discussion led to emergence of better ideas in that school. So that is how they developed interrelation. So in order to study a particular school, You also have to study the school with which it has had that discussion. Okay. Next is synthetic approach. Synthetic approach means, so let's say there is one idea on one hand and another idea on another hand. Jainism says Anekantavad, that is, all these ideas are equally true. Synthesis means bringing together both these ideas and building a third idea. Synthesis is mixing the two ideas, mixing two or three or many other ideas and building a newer idea, another idea. So, synthetic approach. And lastly, the law of karma. All schools of Indian philosophy except Charvaka believe in the law of karma. There is no escape from the consequences of one's action. So if you do bad, in the next life or in this very life, you will face the fruits of that bad action or good action. The fruits of action must be reaped in this life or in future life. That is what it means. Thank you.